Top of the morning, top of the night, whatever the case may be. My name's Ben Matthews, aka Ben Time Traveler. I am who I say I am. Your alien government with inside the government ain't who they say they are. Trust me on this. I know these things. You know, listen to people like Don Lemonade, Kool-Aid, talking about black and brown people getting guns legally and protect yourself from ICE, which hear me out because ain't none of what he said made a bit of fucking sense to begin with. And saying, ain't that what the Second Amendment's for? Gee, since I got here, it's all I've been preaching about. It's the Second Amendment, standing up to these murderers throughout the world. But anyway, they're using part of our beliefs now. But anyway, I don't care the color of your skin and who you are. You should always have a gun to protect yourself legally. By the way, people that can legally own guns, you should always have a gun. It's not about Donald Trump being president and shit and going out and killing ICE agents. For one, Don Lemonade, Kool-Aid, the people you are referring to are illegal aliens. They're in the United States of America illegally. They can't possess a firearm. That's who you're talking to. You're inciting violence against the federal government, period. Now, when I was in Burns, Oregon for the standoff, when Lavoy Finnegan got murdered by the FBI, people carried long guns, rifles, there because it was legally all right for them to carry their weapons openly. They weren't pointing them at any FBI or the CIA or any other corrupt at the time federal agencies. They weren't pointing them at that. They weren't there to kill law enforcement. They were there protesting, and they were there with their guns legally. Okay? Now, Lavoy Finnegan got murdered by the FBI, and I went down that road many, many times, and I'm not going to regurgitate it again and shit, but for Don Lemonade / Kool-Aid to say that, what he's saying is for illegal aliens to get weapons, and when ICE comes up and tries to arrest them, shoot them. That man should get a knock at the door from the FBI, man. That's why he ain't relevant. He's out on the streets talking shit. And half the people, more than half the people he's trying to convince of things are shooting him down. That's why he ain't on CNN anymore. And I've been, because with Trump in Venezuela, I'm trying to research with all that military buildup there to take out that leader would be pretty easy, man. You wouldn't need all that, man. Special ops, maybe bomb dropped off, out of the sky. But the more and more I looked into it, I found that there's an island. There's many islands, but there's an island off the coast there where Iran, Hasma, whatever the hell they want to call themselves over there in Palestine, are training. Well, they're from other parts too, man, but they're training individuals on this island. It's a terrorist training island, man. It's exactly what it is. And they train there, and then they flying back off to back to fucking Iran and Iraq and whatnot and shit, man. And they finished some of their training over there and shit. And then they sent them throughout the world to cause chaos. So I'm thinking, and y'all should screen shot this, catch it. I'm thinking that's what that's about. I think they're gonna go after that island and shit, man, and plus the terrorist leader over there. But I think they're gonna go after that island, man, and then they'll go after him. No, I'm not thinking, I knowing, man, because I know what I know. I don't have to sit there and code anything anymore or try to weave the words, in and out of each other and shit, man, to try to put hints and shit in there. I don't have to do that no more, man, because we're so close to the final stage of this anyway, man. And yeah, I do grow old just like you, man, because I'm here, and it is what it is, man. Not as rapidly, but nonetheless, because somebody asked me about that, man. Do I look like I changed much at all? Now, let's get to the protest that's going to go on. Not so much activity to begin with, just basically looks like, and this is what the mainstream bullshit news is going to show you, is how peaceful it is and shit. But later, as the sun goes down, so do the towns. Now you can screencast this and catch it. I know, it's just like the earthquakes and volcanoes that I warned you about a few weeks back, in how they're going to pick up and get stronger, and you're going to see more activity of them, and especially the volcanoes. And you notice this is all happening now, and I'm going to get off track because I got a lot up in here, people are making YouTube videos saying NASA's silence on 3-1 Atlas and this and that shit. Well, they're not silent. They're shut down. Okay. The Democrats shut them down, man. So they're not operating. There are some programs out there that are still running and shit, but that's all shut down, man. And anyway, NASA's not going to tell you a damn thing anyway. They ain't told you nothing about the aliens to begin with. The fallen ones, the evil ones, they ain't told you about them to begin with anyway. So you think they're going to start now? Be for real, man. So when you see them videos out there, New Image and all this and all the Mothership, and it's all crack of shit, man. All right, I told you, man. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go, man. The closer that Nibiru gets to you, the more of these comets and asteroids are going to, just the other day going flew by Earth and shit. They didn't even see it coming and shit. Just zooms it right on by. But anyway, the closer Nibiru, Planet X, Nabaru, any way you want to pronounce it, gets to you, the more and more of these objects are going to come closer to Earth. It is, man. Think of this. You got, let's say, a 200 million mile, 200 million miles long tail on a comet. And it's ice, it's water. Well, could you imagine, now think, 200 million miles long. Could you imagine one of them tails hitting Earth for a period of time, how much water this planet would gather? Kind of reminds you of the Great Flood that was written down in the truth of the Bible, huh? Sure it does. Facts and truth. You don't have to run away from facts and truth. Nibiru, Planet X, whatever you want to call it, is my last remaining truth and facts before his return, the Lord Jesus Christ, King of Kings. It's my last thing. Everything else You cannot debate me. You cannot call me a liar. You can't call me a nut job, conspiracy theorist. You can't call me none of these things. You never really could, because all that I talked about is facts and truth. Like I said, I should have named this thing Full Circle, this channel, because everything I say, eventually it comes around to be the truth. Last thing, and then I said this, and I've been saying this, the last thing is Nibiru. And the closer it gets, the more and more of these objects are going to come towards Earth. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Anunnaki, but you know, I have talked through the years about it. You know, like you guys are spraying shit around your planet and shit to protect you from the sun and shit, global warming. You know, they were doing the same thing because they travel with their brown dwarfs, and the closer they get to your sun, the hotter their planet gets, and vice versa, the hotter your planet gets. See, how you think you got the idea of what you're doing right now up in the sky? How you think that came about? From them reading the truth and the facts. And they took that idea in your now and trying to apply it to your plan to for them to survive, not you. You're the peasants on top of the earth. You're the bugs. You're the insects that don't matter none. But they want to protect themselves. But I don't want to get off into that, man. I don't talk about no kings protests and shit, because mainstream news is going to show you where everything's all peaceful and they're protesting in their dumb fucking costumes and shit, and that's mental health problems, man. But when the sun goes down, the towns go down. The looting and the burning and the murder. You know, I told you this when I first got here. These so-called socialist people, communists, they'll eat each other. And you see that happening now. They're eating each other. And remember, follow me on my YouTube channel. And God bless each and every one of you. Because I know I'm a lot sometimes. I have my ups and my downs. But I told you about John Fetterman. And I said, call him and thank him. Never use it, follow me. I said, call him, thank him for his positions, for his truthfulness, his willingness to stand up towards the communists, because the man's not blind. And you see now, like that's what I say about things coming around full circle. You see now what the man's doing. He's still a Democrat, and he believes in a lot of Democrat things, and that's cool, because you know, I do too. I just don't believe in all the fucking craziness and the bullshit and the communist part of it. That socialism's 1 inch away from communism. Call it what you want. They're both the same thing, man. But I believe in some programs to help people that are less fortunate than us. But them programs should be for the people here in the United States of America that are less fortunate. Especially my brothers and sisters, and no matter the color of your skin, that are poor and living in these hellhole cities where there's no jobs, because the people they vote for don't create the jobs for them. They don't create work programs for my brothers and sisters that are less fortunate. They don't have grocery stores. They got hundreds of liquor stores, but they you know, as thank yourself a little bit for the Dollar Generals that they put up in places every 10 blocks, you know, because they can get some kind of decency of food and shit out of there, you know. But you know, you can't get that from a fucking liquor store, man. You know, you can go in there and they might sell you a slice of pizza or some shit like that, but they're not selling food that, you know, a family can take home and prepare and, save a couple of dollars. They don't got Walmarts and fucking all that shit, and Democrats don't create that. They don't create the job opportunities by job programs and shit to get these youths off the streets that are carrying guns and killing each other, man. Teach them how to work on automobiles, air, central air, plumbing, electrician, whatever, And instead of the government taking all this money and giving it to them for free, make them have to go to these programs where they can get a job, education, a training, and get out and get a job and get on their own, and then realize, man, this is great, this is beautiful, And another thing, I'm seeing a lot of my brothers and sisters, because I travel, not so much on the road anymore, but through the internet. And I see a lot of my brothers and sisters are saying they're pissed off about what's going on. They're happy. They're like Tennessee, Chicago, Los Angeles, and there's even people calling for Trump to send ICE and the National Guards to Atlanta. These are dark-skinned people, and they're really appreciative of what Trump's doing. They're pissed off about the government giving all these illegal aliens like the $10,000 fucking credit cards, free housing, free food, driver's license, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When once again, they're out there struggling to make ends meet, which I get it. You have to go out and sell some dope and shank, rob somebody. I get it. I honestly do. Because that's all there is for you to do to survive. But the people they voted for ain't giving them an opportunity for these jobs and whatnot. They're not building Walmarts and they build them. They're just going there and looting. You got to start at the bottom, and you got to give these people a purpose in life, man. Something to work for. Give them the job to begin with, man, and then they can advance and just like anybody else. Then you can go from there, get your own house, your own apartment, whatnot, man. Move out of that situation and shit, But that's not presented to them, because I'm telling you right now, Democrats was based on communists, socialist communists. Your school system's a socialist program. You see what they're teaching your children in school? That's a socialist program. Your medical, that's a socialist program. Welfare, that's a socialist program. These are all socialist programs to enslave my brothers and sisters that are less fortunate than others. And then that don't matter about the color of your skin. Don't tell me there ain't poor white people, all right? That makes me really mad. You look at a white person, automatically he's got white privilege and he's better than you. Don't think that way, man, because it's not true. I'm poor as all get up, man. I don't have a lot of money, and what money I got, I spend almost $250, believe it or not, a month just to feed the stray cats. I don't have $250 a month to do that. I make it work. I go without other things, man. For instance, I don't drink coffee anymore with creamer. I drink it black. Say that because when you walk into a store and it's $21 for a can of coffee, by design by the globalists that control it. And that's another thing. Why coffee's so high right now? People are all pissed off and upset about it. They don't understand the cartel, the murderers don't just traffic drugs. They're in control of the coffee beans and the growers. People don't understand it. Think, it's just Kroger's is guilty. Fucking Walmart's, Myers, all them stores are guilty. I almost said A&P. What was it? A&P? A&P? A&P. That like Kruskies? It's like, what's this? Kmart's? Jeez. Yeah, I really did, man. Things don't exist no more. Here shortly, and then total chaos. They say they call it a civil war, race war, call it whatever the hell you want, man. Fucking they 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 don't get it, man. You know, once they start destroying it, they destroy it all, and that's what the people that are above them, because they're not even foot soldiers, man. They're just fucking playing out fucking mental retarded pieces of shit that don't understand that they're being used, man. And I call them that because it's true, man. How can you hate United States of America? How can you even hate the UK? You know, some countries I can understand, man, but you know, they allow all these illegal aliens, and like the UK, they literally allow them in there, you know. Yeah, it just destroys their country, man, on purpose. They gotta have the foot soldiers out there that are willing to do the dirty job and shit, man, of the murdering and shit, man, and because you know there are some people, well, quite a few people on the left that would not participate in none of this that's about ready to happen, because they just wouldn't believe in the violence part of it. But you pick a side, you got to run with that side, man. But for Don Lemonade slash Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid drinker, to be saying things like that, man. If I ever seen him on the street interviewing people, man, I put him in his place, man. I put him in his place, and no violence, just words and facts. But see, he's another one. He's not irrelevant. He's got to feel irrelevant, like Rosie there. You know, she's got to feel like she's relevant now. She never really was. You know, that's why I don't come out here every day, man. It might be a month before I come out here and shit, man. I don't need to be irrelevant to nothing, man. I'm irrelevant to myself and the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. That's all that matters to me. I try to come out here the best that I can and present the truth and the facts. And I've been on point since I got here. And like I said, I got one last thing. By then, it won't matter none anyway. I want to see the arrival of the Lord Jesus Christ, King of Kings. I do not fear him, because I'm in his army. We are an army to fear. I don't fear his arrival. I welcome it. I openly, I'll fall to my knees in tears of joy, happiness. I don't know all the feelings I will feel at that point in time, but I know that there'll be all blessed feelings of peace, of just a peace. Finally, where those that are not on our side of the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, all the pain and sorrow and misery they'll feel. Oh well, it's what you wanted, man. That's what you want. You don't believe, so run around in your dumb fucking costumes and shit, man. Run around with the tail hanging out of your ass. Your furries or whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Like fucking Chester and Lester with a bag of fucking Halloween candy sitting on the ground, and he's up sitting in the tree waiting for a little kid to come by and grab it. That's how I think of them people, man. Yeah, today's been a decent day for all their protests here in the beautiful state of Michigan. I don't even, we got fucking protests here in town like last time and shit. I drove by and shit, man. I let them have it and shit. I'm not even worrying about it, shit, man. I'm not gonna be at places of mass crowds like that from here on out anyway, because of the nut jobs that are gonna do the mass shootings and shit. Red flag, oh well, yeah. They mind control people and shit, and they'll have these protests, and they'll have some guy, man, go out there and shoot a bunch of motherfuckers and shit, and blame it on the right. There you go. Did I say that? Yeah, I said that, man. Yeah, you're lucky, man. You're sitting there giving me a little listen right now because you get to know the truth before it happens. Yeah, the cats cost me a lot. These stray cats to feed, but you know what, man? I know that I'm supposed to take care of the animals, like feeding the squirrels and shit, man. I feed the possums, the raccoons, the skunks. I feed whatever, man. Don't matter nothing. No how the birds. Supposed to take care of the animals. And at first, I wasn't too sure if God was referring to you, the human species, as animals, because when He created you so perfectly before they changed your shit, your DNA, you were an animal. You didn't, then all of a sudden they came around and modified you and gave you technology, man. Giving you more and more and more advanced technology to destroy yourselves anyway, but they thrive on it. If you understand what they think of you, man, I don't give shit what side you're on, left or right, man. If you knew what they thought of you as a human species, you wouldn't be fighting amongst each other. You would unite as one to fight against them. But they control everything, man. They're the ones in control. They control the input, the output, the data. Some of us break through and able to come out here and tell the truth, but you got to think of how many on this rock here we call Earth are blind to it. They don't even believe in God, man. You think they're gonna believe in aliens? Let me put it this way: what is people's opinion of an ant? You see an ant, you're walking and shit. You're just gonna step on it. It's an ant. That's how That's how they think of you. You're 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 not irrelevant. Just your pain, your sorrow, your misery and shit. That what feeds them, gives them their energy. That's what matters to them. But it is about possession of this planet. Yeah, not going down to the protests. I'll sit there and get online and watch the idiots online and shit. And it won't be Trump that does it. That sets all this chaos and shit up. It'll be them making it look as is the right, doing it today. But the burning and down and all the riots and all that's lefties taking advantage of the situation. But how you gonna get them there? It's that bust the glass window effect. Once you bust that freaking window, then you set off the whole crowd and shit. You gotta do is smash that window at that store, and it sets off the whole crowd. See, they know this. It's called, and it's literally written in the playbook. The bust the glass effect, the bust glass window effect. So it's written right in the book, man. They tell these motherfuckers that work for them and shit, and the ones that are mind control, to do this just like they did when Trump and all them patriots and shit. They sent them there, man, and they busted the fucking windows and shit and set off the crowd. Hell, they were moving the barriers to allow the people to get even closer and shit. It was all planned, staged, and they work on both sides pretty damn good. See, they want this, man. They want it. And I don't care what side you're on, the left or the right, man. They want you to go at each other, man. This is the greatest country in the world, and it always has been, man. And they cannot have it because they don't have no control over the people of the United States of America. Even here, maybe a mile away in Canada, we're on that. They do not have their freedom like we have in the United States of America. That's why they come over here to the United States of America and buy their gas, their cigarettes, their groceries. They shop over. They do all this, man. And then they go back. Because they don't have what we got United States of America. And it's not jealousy. It's not about jealousy. It's about control. You cannot control the people of the United States of America unless you take them down and destroy them. And how do you do that? Like I said when I first got here all them years ago, is you get them to fight against each other. These people are thinking, that a lot of people on the left don't got a freaking clue about socialism and communism. They just don't got. They're sitting there talking about democracy, fighting for democracy, and they're not fighting for democracy. They're fighting to be enslaved even more. And I'm glad my brothers and sisters, man, in the hoods and shit, man, are awake to the truth and the facts, man, and coming out strong and getting on these socialist programs and shit, platforms and shit, like YouTube and Twitter and all the rest of them. I don't even know because I only use one, man. And telling their other brothers and sisters, this is what's going on, man. They're screwing us in the ass and shit, man. And it's starting to hurt, ain't it? And they're giving all these illegal aliens all this shit for free and dropping them. And that's another thing. They're dropping them off in our neighborhoods and shit. They ain't dropping them off in the middle class white neighborhoods, are they? Hell no. Not dropping them off in their own neighborhoods and shit, man, and fucking of the rich of the rich. Hell no. Dropping them off in where people are already struggling because they know it causes fucking chaos. It causes friction. It causes the inner fighting against each other and shit. And that's what they want. It's all planned and shit. Well, they should arrest him. Yeah, like Soros and shit. Who the hell are you arresting and shit, man? It's like your black op programs and shit, man. Who you gonna hold liable for the shit that they're doing? There's nobody to be held liable because they don't exist. Follow the money. You only follow the money for so freaking long, man. It's easy enough to follow money from like people like George Soros and shit, man. And him financing everything and shit all around the world, in the UK too, by the way, man. He ain't gonna make it another 8 months anyway, so then you got to deal with his son. He's in love with got married to Hillary Zaid. Who was she with Wiener or something, man? Showing his wiener. They're sick people, man. You know, they really are. And they're the ones. Even you might think, oh, these people are really smart. The richest of the richest and shit. But I'm telling you right now, 80% of the people that are the richest of the richest are the most mind controlled, man. They're the most mind fucked ones that there are out there, man. Because their world is smaller than our world, man. You know, and that's another thing with having the internet, you know, and shit. Your world became smaller and shit because that's all, you know, you're not out socializing in the real world talking to people like at the grocery store and your neighbors and shit anymore and shit, man. You made your world smaller and shit, man. The mark of the beast, and that's all by design, man. You know, the isolate is even in a smaller and smaller little box and shit, man. And you're there now. So you just couldn't do everything all at once and shit, man, because it's just fry out the human beings' brains and shit. You know, they just did it all at one time and shit, man. Like technology wise, they had to slowly roll out this shit, man. Because for one, man, you would stop to yourself and say, hey, there's no way that we're that smart, man, to be doing this right now. You know, it's like artificial intelligence and shit. Could you imagine some 60 years ago that being just 60 years, say 100 years, you know, being in control of that technology and shit? It's been too fast for you. For your brains would just fry out and shit, man. You couldn't handle it, man. You gotta slowly roll it out, man. See, I know where the Lord Jesus Christ, King of Kings, he don't give you no more than he knows that you can handle. But they want to give it to you and shit, man, and it's making you more and more and more. You think more intelligent, but it's actually making you more stupid. Because you're allowing them to do the work, you're allowing them to control you even more. But you go, if you could survive into the future, you go to McDonald's, I bet you never get your order wrong by that robot. Never get your order wrong at all. And another thing, fall into the trap that these dumbasses don't understand. If they uprise, it'd only be for a short period of time anyway. It's only for a short period of time anyway. That gives Trump the opportunity to do a couple different things. He you know, martial law and police state, you know, he can shut it all down, man, have complete control. They fall right into the trap. You know, they didn't have, they're talking like Don Lemonade / Kool-Aid. He talked about fucking Second Amendment shit. He didn't have a problem when they were fucking kicking in people's doors and shit, taking their guns and shit away from them. Never during the hurricane. Remember that? You forget. I know you got short memories. You know, that's all right. That's what I'm talking about, man. They want to keep it that way. But I'll remind you. Remember that? But he ain't got a problem with that. He ain't got a problem when you couldn't travel and shit during that biological weapon that they released on you. They ain't a problem with that. They want to shut down our freedom of speech. Excuse me. But when their freedom of speech gets shut down, they got a problem with it. And I do too. You'd be able to come out here and say whatever you want, make an ass out of yourself if you want. But remember, what, you know, I should be able to come out here and make an ass out of myself too and say whatever I want. But you know, we on the right, you know, I'm not so much on the right. I'm just that of God and peace, love, and understanding and respect of each other. Like I said before, I believe in some of the programs with the Democrats, but they just don't understand when our freedoms were being taken away. They were okay when parents were being arrested for standing up for their daughters being raped, or Christians were being fucking investigated by the FBI. You know, they didn't have a problem with that, and they should have had a problem with that. Yeah, you know, let's just take the grown men going into the YMCA girls' locker room and shit, man, because he feels like a woman. He's a pervert. He don't feel like a woman. He's just using it as a fucking excuse to go in there and be a pervert. But are there people like that that truly believe that? Yes. And it's their life and they should live the way they want to live, you know? But you can't sit there and God bless you. You can't allow somebody to take advantage of your lifestyle and use it to be a pedophile. You can't. You got to stand up against that, man. And it's the same with, let's say, men playing women's sports. You just ain't freaking good enough to play a man's sports. That's all it is. Once again, somebody that's got to be relevant. Somebody that's got to be in the spotlight. Somebody's got, you know. And don't get me wrong, there's people on the right are the same way, man. Got to be in the spotlight, man. Got to be relevant. I'll give you one example. Alex Jones. Shouldn't have said what he said, man. I said it from the beginning, man. I don't come out here, and since I've been here, I don't even know, maybe twice have I talked about mass shootings or death. I just don't do it. But there's been a few times that I have come out, like Charlie, and say something. Rest in peace, my brother. I know you're up there right now, man, looking down, man, getting that army prepared up there. I know. God works through so many of you. And it's sad, man, that they take you. But you accomplished a lot. There's a lot of people in history, man, that God's worked through, man, that were taken out. You may not like the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. God's working through him. And sometimes Trump's personality just comes out, and it is what it is. But I know that God's working through him on so many other things. I just know it. I don't agree 100% with Trump, and that's okay, because you shouldn't agree 100% with anybody. That's very hard to be able to do. So like I say, you know, you hate me all you want if you're a Democrat, shit, but I believe in some of your programs, your beliefs. I honestly do. But it's what's being engaged now that you've been taken over to destroy this country. No, I'm not going there, man. So like I said about John Fetterman, how many months maybe it was last year. I don't know how long ago it was. I come out here and I said, man, you guys need to call this guy, man. You need to thank him and shit. And I said, it'll come full circle. You'll see what I'm talking about. I said this, man. I said it. I said it. And I gotta play. I always had to play this little game, and where I had to like code shit and music, or and and I don't have to no more. They could never hurt me anyway. They tried, but you can't, because I ain't from around here. As I say that, I know I exist in the future, so you can't kill me in your now. And I also exist in the end of times with the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. So don't matter none, no how, no way anyway. I win. I fall short of the glory of God. I ask God to forgive me this smoking weed. I don't know if he's all right with it or not. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs, heavy drugs. I will stand up for myself. Somebody tries to hurt me or my family, I will stand up for myself. I'll go off on you, man. But I don't go out there looking for it. Finally got my driver's license back in the mail. Just went and got it on the 22nd of August. Well, before that. I didn't have it 2 days. I lost my damn wallet. It was easy enough to do. Just got online, man. But I could set up appointment, went down there, bada boom, bada bing, gave him some more money. I think it was cheaper the first time, but I don't know. They asked me if I got any ID, man. No, I don't got any idea. I lost my wallet. Car insurance. But if I was an illegal alien, I wouldn't have no problem getting a driver's license in fucking California or Oregon or Seattle or, Colorado. Wouldn't have no problem with that shit, man. You gotta have 3 pieces of ID. She let me go though, man. She says, don't worry about it. I believe you. Look it up on the freaking computer. See, I was just in here. I went to the store yesterday and I brought some lottery. I always do. I think I got some in my pocket for today. But anyway. I got like, what did I get? I got 40 4 digits, easy picks, 2-way for evening. And that was $40. And I got 20 of the $2 cash words, which I thought would have been $40. Would have been $80. And I got a slice of pizza and some Cheetos. But anyway, I got the scratch offs for sure. I got up about I don't know, I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was still up scratching lottery tickets. I says, "You still scratching them lottery tickets?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Look how many you got me." I said, "I only got you 20 of them. You know, cash words, I know they take a little while, but so I only got you 20 of them." She goes, "No, you got me 40 of them." I didn't get you 40. I only got you 20. Well, I knew the guy gave me 20 too many tickets. That's $40. Was it 20? Yeah, it was $40. So next morning when he opened up, I went back in there and I said, "Hey, I owe you $40, man." And he right in front of him at that time, he had a little tablet and shit, and it said right on there that they were actually $43 short on Lotto. And I gave him $40. You know, it's an honest thing to do. He thanked me for it and shit. But I know I could go anytime if I had to. I can go into that store anytime I wanted to, and I could get anything I wanted on credit, man. You know, he's offered to go to some of these big like Sam's and shit and buy me big things of coffee and shit instead of going to Kroger. I was talking about the price of coffee and shit. I just, I got that relationship, man, and he was thankful and shit. But the guy that sold me the tickets, I went in there this morning and shit to get some this morning. The guy that made the mistake, he said, "Oh, thank you, man." He told me that he didn't want him to say anything to me, but yeah, thank you, man, because it would have come out of his pocket to $40. And says, "This, be honest, man. Go through life being honest. You don't have to worry about it, man. You don't have to worry about it." You don't have to come out here and have a socialist platform out here and tell lies to make money. Just be honest, man. I watch like Asmongold. I started watching Asmongold and shit, and then there's other people that he's kind of introduced me to. Like, you know how it works, introduces you to other channels and shit. But I really like that guy. But was that one guy, Hassan, that said that America deserved 9/11 and shit? Anyway, it's a collar gate and shit, man. That shit's so funny, man. Kind kind of kind of makes it for a better day when you watch that piece of shit fucking go down and cry like that, man. But Asmongold, I like him, man. He's 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 intelligent. But man, the guy that he could. There's another guy what from Asmongold talk about shutting down his shit when people giving him money and shit, man. He don't need it and shit, and then there's many reasons to it, man. Because that's why I would never do it either, man. Just people think that you in the chats and shit, you owe them this, you owe them that and shit, because they donating to you and shit, blah 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 and shit. They got all kinds of shit out there, man. You may be involved in it yourself, man. I watch people give up their social security checks to one individual month after month after month, till they didn't have nothing no more, it was all gone. But the person that was on a social platform, he was doing just great. And I hated it, man. I hated what it represented. But anyway, yeah, one guy, he's making $35 million a fucking year. Or it might have been gross that he's made so far. I don't know. I didn't I just seen that. But at least he's in there, quit sending me money because he don't need it. You're getting paid for the commercials and all this other bullshit. It's a lot of people don't understand how deep these socialist platforms go to fucking enslave people even more and shit, man. About the dollar. But yeah, it makes so much money, and I just even Asmongold, I know they he got on a live chat one time, doing something with, I can't remember who it was with the shit, and they automatically say, hey, are you going to donate $100,000 to this? And he's like, what? He cut it short, man, because that Asmongold, he's a tightwad dude. He's thinking of the future, of when he's no able longer to do this, like Hassan and shit. He'll have that money to live. He don't live, really don't look like he really even lives outside his means. And like you watch some of these people on these social platforms that are making these millions of dollars, and the housing, the cars, the jewelry, the wham whams and zoom zooms and shit. Well, when they're no more relevant shit, man, that all disappears. When they're nobodies, they're gonna find out it's pretty freaking rough, man. That's why I don't live outside my means either. Matter of fact, I sacrifice and shit for others can have things, even animals. You might think all these years, if you hated me, I'm not such a terrible person for telling you the truth and shit, But like I said though, I ain't no fucking wussy either, man. I won't kick stones in the middle of the street with people, man. Sometimes you gotta know when to sit back and sit in the dark. Like when I was at Burns, Oregon, man. I didn't go down to where the standoff was when they took over the bird refugee place. I didn't go down there every day where they were all at. I stayed at the motel room. And as a matter of fact, I was editing videos and working on different shit, whatnot, shit, nonetheless. Even dog sitting, man. But I knew that I had to sit in the dark at that point in time because I knew somebody was going to be murdered. And I also knew that myself and the group of individuals I was with, and I'll say his name, Pete Santilli, I knew that we were supposed to be there with LaFoy Finnegan and be shot too. That's why I sat in the dark. Now, when it happened, I told everybody that I missed the turnoff by accident, that I didn't know which way LaFoy Finnegan went, because when we're driving down the road behind him, we were quite a ways behind him. I turned one way and he went the other way, and I didn't know that, right? That's what I told everybody. But I did know that. I turned that way on purpose, for that would give me the time to turn back around, and they already had him up the roadblock, and that way we couldn't get behind him and be murdered, shot. Because when I came back around, see, Pete Santilli didn't know none of this, right? But when we came back around to get back on the road LaFoy Finnegan was on, they already had a roadblock set up. See, they already had this shit planned out. But we were supposed to be behind LaFoy Finnegan. Then when we got out of the car, hey, what's going on? The cop standing there, well, there's quite a few cops, FBI and whatnot, because when LaFoy Finnegan got shot, it didn't even happen yet. When we got out of the vehicle, it didn't even happen yet, man. It was still probably half an hour after this event. But anyway, when we got out and shit, we're standing there, what's going on? Shit, they ain't telling you. But all of a sudden, it came on the walkie-talkie. Does anybody know where Pete Santilli is? And we're standing right next to the cop, and the cop hits his mic and says, yeah, he's right here with me, we're at such and such row, blah, blah, blah. And nothing was said after that. We got in the car and be like, wow, yeah, man, they're trying to see where you're at, bro. Yeah, we know. I knew. But I couldn't let on that I knew what was going to take place. It's the way it was, man. But I wouldn't allow myself to be put in that position, man, to be fucking shot. That's for sure. It's like when we went out to the airport and shit, and they had all them lasers, man, from them guns pointing at us. And it was dark time and shit, pointing all in the fucking vehicle and shit, man. All lasers every fucking where. I about ready to open up the passenger door and slide down into the fucking snowbank, you know. But I knew that they weren't gonna shoot. That Pete would take off. But yeah, get out of here! Get out of here! And then when they arrested Pete Santilli, come up to the truck, point that long rifle at me and shit, right in my fucking chest, man, right in my chest. Remember our blue hair was with us and shit from Portland, I think. You sit in the back. You mind not pointing that gun at him? Thanks, man. Don't know. Don't know who it was. Somebody called me and asked me if I want to go down to the No King rally. No, just bullshit. Same thing happened in Phoenix, Arizona when that guy pulled that gun on us. You got 10 guys standing there with weapons, and you got a street gangbanger coming across the street to take them on with a little fucking pea shooter. Unbelievable. If it wasn't for Pete Santilli, it would have been a shootout, man. A couple people dead. But Pete's a good talker, man. He's a good talker. He calmed down the situation, explained to the guy what we were doing there about the homeless vets and shit, man. Helping the homeless vets, get them off the street, give them a place to sleep, giving them some food, give them a shower. Trying to bring awareness to, 21 vets commit suicide a day. Explain to the guy what we were doing there. We weren't there, he thought we were being racist and shit. We went to Washington D.C. They had a protest there in the opposite side, and I went right in there and started interviewing people. I got a lot of it on file, man, and got posted on a couple of different channels. But yeah, I interviewed people, man, and I was asking them questions, man. What's this about? And shit, and they telling me and shit. You only hearing what one side wants you to hear. Yeah, that's when they had went down there and people being mind controlled and shit, man. And went down there and said, "You got to educate yourself, man." And a lot of them people, man, that think that they are being controlled by the government. Yeah, it's sad to say, man, but I gotta say the truth, man. They're just plain out fucking nuts, man. I'm sorry, man. There's some credibility to it. You know, there really is some truth, a lot of truth to it. But they hurt, you know, them people there were just not involved with the government. Experiments and shit, man. I'm sorry, man. Like 80% of them. Unbelievable. And then you had pedophiles. Well, not predators, I should, not pedophiles, predators, because they were preying on older women. But that were taking advantage of these people, man. Sexually, financially. Finally, I had to call it out for what it was, man. Yeah, serious. There's different people out there that were preying on these people, man, that were mentally fucked up in the head, and people were taking advantage of them. Like I said, sexually, financially. You know, and it's they already have problems and shit, man. You know, and you're gonna be a predator and take advantage of them. I just fucking had to call you out for who you are, piece of shit. Couldn't stand it, man. I got deep in that. I mean, you had the phone group phones and shit, man, conversations and on fucking fucking internet, boom, boom, boom. All about that money though, man. Stealing and shit from each other and fucking. But the predator shit, man. That's enough's enough, man. I call it out, man. But once again, there are some that were being controlled by the government. So that's what I mean, man. It's like the left and the right, they are mind fucking groups of individuals to go out and do the stupid shit. And you see it, man. It's just like, what I just talked about. What form it comes in, it don't matter. None. It's bullshit. I'm gonna have to take down my castor bean plant pretty soon. Maybe today. Gonna get too cold, man. It's done anyway. But still getting a few more flowers and seeds on it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They just grew by themselves this year. I didn't plant them. They ain't supposed to come back because it's too cold here. Yeah, they made it. Beautiful day today. Beautiful day. Got a nice breeze. I don't know what temperature is. It feels like I'm 65 or something. Check it out. 63. Pretty damn close, eh? All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're all probably wanting to go find some fucking videos, man, on one of these social platforms of the No Kings for a Day rallies and shit. But it don't get good until the sun goes down. Maybe a little bit different this time, but you know how evil is, man. Evil likes the dark. Most people are really are scared of the dark. They just don't know why. But I do. I'm not scared of the dark. I just fuck them. Just ain't getting into your shit. You ain't fucking. You can't fucking. You can't trick the truth. Can't trick the facts. There you are. What are you doing over there? Huh? Yeah, I'm over here. What are you doing over there? What my baby doing up on the roof? Huh? I know it's you. Yeah. I was gonna show you my squirrel, but I can't see the fucker to turn the screen around anyway. The phone's too fucked up. What are you doing up there? You hungry? I'm gonna go in a minute. I'll get you some peanuts. I know it's my buddy, man. He got scrape something going on with the side of his right front leg. Don't look like anything of discomfort or anything. Could be a battle wound, could be a power line, could be what's that shit, mange or whatever the hell they call it. Climbs up my neighbor's flagpole, gets on the roof, checks the gutters, climbs down. You come see me? Yeah, the squirrels disappeared for a while, man. I don't know. Fucking mating season, giving birth, or what the hell, man. Almost over a month. Now they're back by the plentiful now, that's for sure. But I know that's the one I raised as a baby, man. He comes in the house and shit, and indoor cats are upstairs. He'll come right in and walk around on the living room floor and shit and come get a peanut. All right, probably bored you enough, man. Put a lid on it. I may go down and check out the protests and shit and film it, man. I ain't been to the circus in a long time anyway, so. Peace, love, and understanding, much respect of each other, and be that of God and God's army, because you are an army to fear, and they fear you knowing the truth.